I'm going to talk about inefficient use of charging stations. And anybody from a grid operator might think there is no inefficient use possible. And I'll try to convince them that it is possible today. So let's see, does this pointer also work? Yes, it works. So what is the goal of this session? First, to understand what is inefficient use of charging stations. And then we try to quantify this problem. So how big is it really? And we try to come up with some solutions to address this problem. So first of all, do you have a question, or do you have an idea about how much of the time that people are connected to a charging station is actually used for charging?
Percentages?
Percentages. 20, 35? 20 is actually really close, it's 90% only. So from every 5 hours that a car is connected to a charging station, it only uses 1 to actually charge. This number is quite low, and from a grid operator perspective, you think, great, let's go with smart charging, who can really use this peak and then flow it out over the 5 hours. But let's see how these charging stations are really used. So what we first did is look at how long people charge at the charging station. So I divided this into some subsections, and we see that the major block is actually only 0 to 4 hours. This is just, you go somewhere, you park your car, you try to charge it. It's actually quite good, and they use almost all the time to charge. And then we see a small section from 4 to 8 hours, and then we see a huge section for 8 to 16 hours. And these are people that park overnight, just they come home after work, leave the next morning. And I would say, people from grid operators, this is really your thing. Here we can smart charge a lot. And this is great. But then we come into these, let's see, this is the pointer, in this section. People that charge more than 16 hours or even 24 or even longer than 3 days. There's maybe not a lot of sessions, but if we would compare this to, oh, this is a bit bigger chart than I imagined, but how much they keep these charging stations occupied, we see that these large portions of sessions, which only last 0 to 4 hours, only account to 6% of the time that the charging stations are occupied. And about half of all sessions, all occupations is caused by sessions that last longer than 16 hours. So even without, if you think about smart charging, you can use this part, but even then, this part would say this could be really too long. So let's look into a little bit more detail about this. In this graph, I try to, on this axis, see how long what a session takes. So this is for like 0 to 1 hours, and this is anything above 3 days. So we see again this peak of very short sessions. We have the nighttime sessions, and basically anything below is really small number, and then there's this really small peak again, and more than 3 days. But if we then look at so this is in blue, and then if we look in red, how much connection this causes, we see this major peak for nighttime chargers, and then it goes down, we see 2 days charging, we see over the weekend, and then in the end we have this major peak from people that stay longer than 3 days. So this is actually, if we go back, about 6% of all occupations of our charging stations. If we then look forward at how much they actually use this time for charging, then you can see that these short sessions actually use a lot of time for charging, overnight also, and this is actually means nothing in the total. So they do cost a lot of occupation, but not a lot of charging. So we came up with this problem and said, okay, can we do something about it? And people told me, well, Rick, this is really nice, but this is really a temporary problem. We have a lot of plug-in hybrids here, they have small batteries, they're fully charged within 2 hours, but we all move to these big battery cars and there's not a problem anymore. So, nice statement. I said, okay, let's investigate this. So what I did is I plotted the battery capacity of the car, somewhere between 0 and 100 kilowatts. This is the major Tesla part. And I look at how effective they are in charging. So this is effectiveness as the time charging divided by the time connected. And what we see, I divided this into the blue ones. These are the plug-in hybrids. These are your mid-range electric vehicles like your Leaf or your Zoe. And then in the end we have these Teslas that are also there. So in the beginning we see a sharp rise, and this is all Toyota Prius. They are finished after an hour but still stay connected for a long time. We see a rise, but then again it is a decline and kind of stays stable from somewhere, let's say from 10 kilowatts up to even 100. So how is this possible, you might imagine, because if you have a Tesla you're probably likely to charge more and also use more of this time. To understand this you need to look a bit more at the technical details. One of the most important factors here is one-phase charging and three-phase charging. A one-phase charger uses only 3.7 kilowatts and a three-phase charger can charge up to 11 kilowatts per hour. So if I divide this, you can really see some nice divisions. We see almost all plug-in hybrids are one-phase chargers, and this is true. You can look up the technical details. And then we have a really interesting divide. Within these mid-range cars, we see the one-phase chargers and the three-phase chargers. So here we have the Leaf and the BMW i3, but we also have the Zoe, which is a three-phase charger, which is less efficient, you can say, in using the time that is actually connected. But it's kind of strange to say that Zoe drivers are more scumbags than Leaf drivers, while they actually have the same battery, right? So it's kind of strange to say that. So what I did, I modeled all these sessions from three-phase chargers into a one-phase charger. So how would they charge if they have a one-phase charger only on board? Then we get a different view, because then we really see that the time that is used for charging actually grows while battery capacity is growing. So if we really would compare these Tesla drivers to Leaf drivers to plug-in hybrids, they are actually using the system more efficient in that way. And why is this interesting? You say because these cars are the way they are. But if we look into the future, we can really see at which models are coming up and how they will use the charging stations in the future. So for example, a really interesting case is of course the Opel Ampera. Big battery, only one-phase charger. So if I look back, they really would come in this area quite efficiently as well. But other cars, for example, are the new Zoe. They only use 4 hours to charge the entire battery. So we can really say that they have more opportunity to use the system efficiently. So this is a good thing to keep in mind in the future. Then a second remark I got when I first presented these results, I said, yeah, but it's only a few of these people around that use the system really inefficiently. So what I did, I just plotted the number of people that showed a longer than 3-hour session, a 3-day session, I'm sorry. And we can see that a lot of people actually did it only once, and this is like 1,400 people, and they usually do it around Christmas or around Easter. Also on some of these days, because then you stay at home for more than 3 days. But there are also some really, people that used to have these sessions more than 40 times, and this is on a year scale. So they actually are staying there for over 1/3 of the year on the charging station.
Are these public chargers or?
These are all public chargers, yes. Yes, only public chargers. So if this is a home charger, this is not a problem, of course, because it's your own driveway. But these are public chargers. So, a lot of people only do it once. Can happen, it's Christmas, no problem. But we also see a lot of people doing it multiple times. So we could say we can come up with some policy measures to really get these people to move their car once it's fully charged. Then secondly, we compare several cities we have in our database. We have Amsterdam, The Hague, Rotterdam, Utrecht. These are kind of similar in their behavior. So in red we see the average time that a car is connected, in blue that uses to charge. But the only thing that stands out is the metropolitan region of Amsterdam. These are more like small villages. We think this is because they usually have charging stations at more spots that are next to the grocery store or more public charging, so not used for home charging as well. So these are more short sessions, so they use more time that's actually charging. So this is, you could say, a bigger problem in big cities, in inner cities. So if we try to quantify this problem, I looked at all sessions from 2015 and 2016 within these 4 major cities in the metropolitan region of Amsterdam. We saw over 12,500 sessions which is only 0.5%, that lasted longer than 3 days. They caused over 2 million hours of occupation, which is 6.5%. If we look at these sessions, of course, this is one car connected to a charging station, but that does mean that the other plug is still available. So I looked at how many times it happens that both plugs are not available, and on average it is almost 5 sessions per long session that occurs. So over about 45% of the time the charging station is actually not available during these very long sessions. And in the end it sums up to about 1 week per year that a charging station is not available because people are staying there too long. You could say, okay, this is really nice, this charging station is not available, but is there a demand? Or is there somebody else that wants to use this charging station? Well, this is of course difficult to determine. I'm not going to stand next to a charging station and count the amount of EVs passing by. So what I did, this is really early work, I must say. We tried to use the pressure on neighborhood level, so we counted the amount of sessions on the neighborhood at a certain hour or a certain time of the week of the day, and then I came up with this pressure and I connected this to this charging session, and then I came up with a probability that somebody else wants to charge at this point during this long session, And you can see that for most of the sessions, the probability is actually really small. So there's really not a lot of pressure on the system. But this is also because a lot of these sessions take place during the night. This is actually for all sessions when they end after charging. So there's a really small amount of sessions that the probability gets higher that the other car wants to charge on this charging station. But you can imagine as the number of EVs is growing, that the pressure on the system is increasing. And of course this is one method to calculate this. Julian later will present a different method, but we're still working on this. So we have this problem of people staying there too long. Can we come up with a solution? First one is really interesting. It's quite a hot topic on the mobile. Use an idle fee. Tesla already uses on the fast chargers, but they charge I think like 25 euros an hour or something like that. Quite expensive if you just forget to move your car, and especially because this is all public charges within a city, and it's difficult to compare a fast charger to a slow charger because you will use it as a parking space, which happens to be also a charger. But we also heard that Nuon is now taking this idle fee into Brabant and Limburg next year when they are placing new charging stations. I think they are asking 22 cents an hour. I see a nod no, but we'll hear the comment on that later. So this is a possible solution, and there are some pros and cons. It's probably highly effective. There's a positive business case for those that own the charging point, but it's quite user-unfriendly, especially within cities where there's a high parking pressure. You can say to these people, please move your car when it's fully charged, but where are you going to place that car next? If it's 8 o'clock in Amsterdam, good luck trying to find a new parking spot. So is this really a thing we want to do? We can also use rewards. So if your car is fully charged and you move it within the next hour, I'll give you a 2 kilowatt-hour discount from your charging session. Quite effective as well, but from a charging point operator perspective, it's quite difficult to realize because the business case is negative. Other ways are doing this in a social way. We already have this social charging app, and it's really nice because it really matches the demand of a new charging session with moving your car. But we do need a large number of users in the system to make it work. So we require really a mass for this to do. Other options are valet charging, and what we do see in America, just unplug your car by somebody else, but it's not really user-friendly. And we can, of course, think of a longer list of possible solutions. Well, this is my presentation, and if you have any questions, thank you.